All right, everybody. Good evening. Good evening. Hope you all are doing well. Forecaster Josiah Acheampong here, just giving you a brief update on some of the storms trying to make their way through the area. I thought by starting off, uh, we could start off by taking a look at this satellite view, which you'll see here of those puffy white clouds there to the west over portions of eastern New Mexico, starting to make their way here to portions of the Panhandles area. Now you could see some of that bubbling cloud tops there right before the frame kind of switches over to a different kind of view. And that's the storms trying to become explosive, but at this point in time, they're failing to do so. Really much becoming more of a linear line at this point in time. As we take a look right now at our sky cam there in text line, you can see the raindrops on the lens. You can see the fiery sunset there in the background as those clouds try to clear out as those storms move through portions of the area. In fact, taking a look at our sky cam also in Clovis, you could see those darkening clouds and oh, even some lightning there as some cells also move through portions of eastern New Mexico down there in Curry County. Now, taking a look at our temperatures right now, currently sitting in the 70s at this point in time. So, not much in the way of heating from the atmosphere to help some of those storms get the punch that they're looking for. But as we take a look right now at our temperatures, now moving over to our radar, what we'll notice is that consolidated line of storms that we saw from above from the satellite view, you can now see on the radar. So that's going to be this whole line stretching from portions of Boise City down just east of Tucumcari near San Juan, and even a new line developing between Clovis down near Portales, so just west of that. But let's take a closer look. There are some sections I want to take a closer look at. So you can see text line now getting out of some of the heaviest downpours of rain and even some frequent lightning as well. But what you're left with is steady to moderate rainfall at this point in time. But Boise City, you're up next in terms of getting into some of that heavy rain right now. Conrad, Keys, even Felt, Buffalo Springs, and Coldwater, you're tapping into some of the heaviest downpours at this point in time. But then that kind of stretches all the way down near Sedan, Amistad, and moving into portions of Hartley County. Now, taking a look a little bit further south along I-40 from Logan, San Juan, Vista, you're also tapping into some really heavy downpours at this point in time. We could see wind gusts anywhere between 40 to 55 miles an hour or so, with embedded in some of these embedded in this line of storms as it moves through the area. So if you're traveling along portions of I-40 in eastern New Mexico, going from San Juan over into Adrian, you'll definitely start to see conditions deteriorate as that line moves through the area. And a little bit further south, we were just talking about Clovis, off in the distance, just north and west of that, you could see that band of heavy rainfall beginning to develop there and begin to move to the northeast. A lot of this whole line of storms is kind of moving in that northeastern direction at this point in time. We'll continue to keep an eye on that, but the weather headlines we're tracking, of course, these strong evening storms that will have elevated flooding concerns, especially with some of these cells that can put down rainfall rates anywhere between 1 to 3 inches an hour. Wouldn't be surprised if you get a rogue storm to put down even more than that at this point in time. Taking a look right now at our severe outlook, the National Weather Service the Storm Prediction Center has gone ahead and stripped us of the slight risk that once existed over portions of eastern New Mexico. Now, really looking at a marginal risk, and again, that favors areas just southwest of Amarillo, but that includes Dalhart, Vega, Hereford, Friona, down near Clovis and Portales. Those are going to be the portions that have the best opportunity where the atmosphere is able to really try and produce some severe storms. The farther east that line of storms gets, the less likely that is to happen. Now, taking a look at our model, this is starting about 10 o'clock or so, so we'll have that line of storms make its way through the area. But in fact, around 11 to 12 o'clock or so, that's when we can see that line of storms try to make its way through portions of Amarillo if it holds itself together. Now, we get into Sunday morning, looks like we could still be dealing with some isolated storms, especially further east. But the threat continues throughout the day. This looks like it updated itself. And I do favor this idea that portions of our eastern counties tomorrow can tap into some additional instability, and that can cause some isolated storms to flare up. But again, it remains very isolated, not nearly the same amount of storm coverage that we're seeing today. We'll head into Sunday evening, clearing out, temperatures dipping into the 60s and 50s in select areas. We wake up Monday, we're clear, trying to deal with some cloud cover. But the trend is that we could be dealing with some isolated off and on threats for storms throughout much of this week. Now, in terms of rainfall, let's see how much rain we're talking about. Some areas can pick up. I mean, this current run looks very unimpressed with the rainfall we can see, but anywhere between, I would say, half, a quarter of an inch up to an inch of rain in select locations. But again, it all depends on where the heaviest bands of rain set up. Now, here's what the flooding concern does look like. We still do have an elevated risk. Areas shaded in yellow is going to be the medium risk for excessive rainfall. That includes Amarillo, Hereford, Friona, Vega, um, in that whole area in general. But even if you're in the low portion, can't rule out some possible isolated flooding concerns. But even as we head into the day Sunday, we still have the threat again for those isolated storms that could flare up. In fact, we do have a marginal risk level, 1 out of 5 for severe storm development, and that can include half-dollar sized hail, winds up to 60 miles an hour, and flooding could be possible as well, although the threat remains low and not nearly as widespread as today's threats. Now, in terms of our forecast for tonight, temperatures dipping into the 50s and 60s, dealing with those strong evening storms and that increased flooding concern. So, if you are traveling on the roads, which I would not advise, especially as that line of storms moves through, just give yourself some extra time if you are traveling. Or, secondly, you want to be sure to watch out for areas that are prone to flooding, poor drainage, low-lying areas. They could give yourself some issues, and especially if you can't see the bottom of the road, or if it looks shiny or sheeny and you're seeing reflections, you may be looking at some flooding there. So you want to turn around and don't drown. You'd rather be safe than sorry. As we head into tomorrow, temperature is a little bit cooler in the upper 70s, low to mid 80s. We're clearing out, although can't rule out the possibility of some isolated storms that could flare up, especially in some of our eastern counties. Now, taking a look at our next weather maker, much of this week is in a transitional period because we start out getting rid of the first trough that moved through. Now, as we head into Tuesday into Wednesday, it looks like we'll have a new trough move into the area. That will increase our rain chances at least Wednesday, Thursday, and by Friday, hopefully, it's kicking itself out of here. But then that's when we have an area of high pressure try to develop and we could get some ridging. But when that high pressure sits off to our west, and portions of the southwest, that's when we can get that northwest flow aloft, and that can trigger some downsloping winds, which could cause us some storm development as well. Taking a look at our 7-day tracker, you'll notice temperature is hovering near normal for this time of year, or just slightly above in certain instances. Isolated storm chances can't be ruled out throughout this week. We'll definitely keep an eye on Wednesday and Thursday just to see in terms of storm development. But at this point in time, looks like our rain coverage looks a little low right now, but we'll see what happens with that. In any case, I hope you all take care, stay safe. We will be on for 10 p.m. tonight after tonight's games. So hope to see you there. You all take care, stay safe, and hope to see you again soon.